Hi everyone, Jennifer Nicole Campbell here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my teaching experiences, and it's going to be in a collaborative effort with the Mainline Music Teachers Organization, with which I'm part of. And we're going to be exploring our February vlog, which in this case I'm going to be talking about cultivating imagination in the music studio. Now this is a very important subject to me as a music teacher because I really firmly believe that when students feel their music making meaning, it's meaning in action, it's something that they can share with their friends and family and share ultimately with their community. And so things I like to do is to connect everyday experiences to what they're playing. Now how do we do that? Through imagination. Well, the great thing about imagination is that it's a wonderful personal space for the student to kind of create their own intellectual architecture. Right? And they can kind of freely explore different expressions, different pictures in their mind. And what a great place to do that with music. And so, for example, with Bergmüller's Arabesque, it begins pretty simply. How do we make that sound imaginative, right? Okay, now a lot of students can sometimes tend to just want to play this quickly. It's just a chord, it's just an A minor chord, big deal. And they often play it too fast, and then all of a sudden the right hand comes in and things slow down because it gets a little more difficult. It also gets more interesting, you could say. But how do we make those first four chords really interesting and fascinating? So at this point I might encourage the student to close your eyes and imagine. What do you see? What do you picture in your mind? You're setting the backdrop for a story. And then you ask the student, so what kind of story is it? They might say, well, it's a story about, maybe it's All Hallows Eve, and you can picture the sun is down and the darkness is starting to come through the landscape, and you see these little creatures, you know, poking out of the trees. Right? And all of a sudden, those first four chords can become really exciting. Okay, what's another beginning of a piece? So this is another popular one by Eric Satie. Okay, very reflective, very slow at first. You could say it's kind of boring at first if you want to go with that. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It might be tempting to just kind of get used to that back and forth. So we have to introduce the idea again of imagination. How do we pull from our experiences and to put that into the keyboard so it's not just notes, it's music. In this case, you could easily think about something very picturesque. So if we close our eyes and imagine watching clouds. And clouds come in all shapes and sizes. So you can say, what do you see in the clouds? Do you picture an elephant in the clouds? Do you picture a face? Do you picture an angel in the clouds? And suddenly those first few measures can be pure magic. Okay, so again, setting this backdrop for creating a beautiful story. And then another example, you could say Chopin's Fantasia Impromptu begins kind of an interesting way, right? 5-1, 5-1. Kind of, you know, ramping things up. And instead of just, which could be an easy temptation if you're just starting to work on the piece. So if you're working on that with a student, you know, what do we make of those first two chords? Just two octaves, right? 5-1, 5-1. I mean, most pieces of music are going to have something including that harmonic architecture. And for me, I always like to imagine this as like the top of the, you know, you're going up the roller coaster, it's the top of the roller coaster, all of a sudden you're able to see down, it's that moment where you realize there's no turning back, and then boom, propels, right? So you're top of the roller coaster and then propelling forward. And then it just spins and spins from there. So the beginnings of pieces of music are really wonderful places for us as teachers to introduce imagination right from the get-go. You know, don't wait until it's the day before the recital, week before the recital, and suddenly we're trying to make the music mean something. I'd say right from the get-go is a great place to start. Having the student picture in their imagination some way to create a story, some way to create an idea so that they're connecting their everyday experiences to something magical. And we're going from just pure notes to absolutely beautiful and inspiring music. Hope you enjoyed this little blog post through the Mainline Music Teachers Organization. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.